and welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices, where our topic today is called Passing Failing Students. And we have Mr. Jose Macias Jr., who is the board president of Judson ISD School Board. And before we go any further, we want to give a shout out to our producers, Mr. Carl Booker and Linnell Taylor, for putting this show together. And we also want to remind you that I forgot to mention earlier, is that we please put comments in all of our segments, as well as hit the like and hit that bell to subscribe to our network. So Caleb,
Yes.
you had some questions pertaining to the types of programs that will prepare the students for employment.
Right. Yeah. So I'm gonna stick a pin in that one. So we're gonna talk about some of the programs that you guys offer. I know you have the intervention high school, and then you also have the college prep high school, right? Or where they can earn associate. So I do want to definitely give you an opportunity to talk about that. But I know before the last segment, I mentioned there was a question about economics and how economics is affecting education. And so, what kind of interventions could you even possibly put in place in a district where economics seems to be probably one of the largest obstacles?
That is, it's been the biggest challenge, right? I mean, we're not the only community that's addressing that. I mean, across the country, there are challenges in that. But at Judson, we do have resources that are designed to give more to campuses that are considered economically disadvantaged. And when I started my time as a trustee back in 2010, 55% of Judson ISD was considered economically disadvantaged. Today, those numbers are 75%. And we're also dealing with post-COVID, which was a real thing in terms of student readiness. So our interventions look like small groups with teachers who pull students into small groups. There are also other types of motivational type of activities for students. There are after-school programs, there's tutoring. One of the things that is interesting to me and why I say poverty in general is because there are variables under that. Poverty could be lack of stable leadership at home, one single parent or no parents or grandparents who may have a different idea of how education is supposed to work in this day and age. It's tough. Those variables make it difficult sometimes to really get the support a student needs, and why I've been really one of the few advocates that says we need to involve parents more and identify what's happening at home to help the students. But all of those things play a role in how successful we are. And so as we continue to grow students that fall under the criteria of economically disadvantaged, it's critical now more than ever that we up our game in those interventions. And so I almost will tell you that the article coming out was a blessing because it does give more onus on what are those interventions going to be. And I've been sort of leading that in the boardroom to make sure. And I think the entire district leadership is interested in upping our game at a time that is very critical.
Thank you for that. And so, and then the other question was about the high school program. So I'll give you the opportunity to talk about that wonderful program. You have a cybersecurity program that's at Veterans Memorial.
Yeah, we have several career pathways. We do a lot of medical-based career pathways at Judson High School. Veterans Memorial has cybersecurity. Wagner High School has STEM. So we have different programs that are focused on giving students an ability to pick sort of their passion and their career pathway. And it's phenomenal. It's worked really well, and we're going to continue that. And just like anything, we're going to continue to enhance and make it even better as we go forward. But the Judson Early College Academy, our students now, I think we're 13, 14 years into that program now. They're producing students that have an associate's degree and a high school diploma. It is a phenomenal program.
Awesome. Let me switch subjects a little bit while we've got our guests here. You've seen a lot of protests over the course of the last few weeks at the college level especially.
Oh, yeah.
And what I would like to ask is, has your school district or do you know of any other local school districts that have looked at that and decided what you might do in case you had students who might decide to do the same at your school? And how do you look at protests? Do you think it's a positive thing for the growth of the students or not?
Well, I believe in civic engagement. I mean, I've protested in my time. So we certainly want the students to be responsible and civic-minded. Thank goodness this issue has not arisen, so I can tell you we've had no discussion on anything. It would be just hypothetical if we had that discussion. So naturally, we're focused on what we needed to deliver, which is a student that's ready to go. But in terms of that issue, it really hasn't come up, and I'm grateful. But in the past, we've had students protest on other issues, and we've tried to create space for them to use their voice and to understand that they have a right to protest if there's an issue that they're concerned about. Peacefully, and preferably not during the academic day. We make space for them to do it at an appropriate time. Because again, we want our kids, our students, to really know about the world and to care about being engaged in it.
Awesome, awesome.
I did have one question for you before we sign off. When I was with the San Antonio School District, we had a program at the elementary level where it was a year-round school. And it got discontinued for various reasons. Do you see where bringing a program like that to Judson may help produce middle schoolers who have a stronger possibility of passing those courses more?
We have a district innovation department that looks at innovative processes. And we just finished a 3-year grant at one of our local elementary schools in my district that was a full summer program. But when we looked at the data was very similar to what students were when they were going to a traditional program. So we're reevaluating what we need to do, because the expected outcome would be that a student would be further along. And when we did not see that outcome, we have to retool. So I'm going to say that once that evaluation has occurred, we may revisit doing something like that. But it's more expensive to have a full year program.
Or even have teachers loop with the kids, like from first to third grade, and then fourth and fifth together, or something like that. Because I know that the school that I was, my first school was a low-performing school, Douglas Elementary School. And it was a 3 to 5 school, 3rd to 5th grade school. So when you came in, the teachers picked up third grade and they stayed with them through 5th grade.
It's like a Montessori.
No, it's a little bit different, because the teacher now is responsible for teaching 3rd grade curriculum, 4th grade curriculum, and 5th grade curriculum, to include preparing them, unfortunately, for that test. So what we found out was that it was a low-performing school, and we took a curriculum that was more student-centered, and those kids, within 2 years of my being at that campus, we were able to go from low-performing to where we became proficient. So that might be something to consider, maybe at the elementary level, to have somewhere a looping process.
Let me take this opportunity to say that I have known Mr. Macias for quite some time. And I can remember when Mr. Macias ran for an office, and as African Americans know, Mr. Macias, you can look at him and tell he's not of the African American descent. However, I want to say here and now that Mr. Macias has been somebody who has been for the African American student. He has proved that at his time at Judson. And I would say that any time in the future, that if anybody else looks at him for a position in our school district, he is definitely someone to look at.
So my
wait a minute.
thing is,
Okay, go ahead.
so no, I was gonna say, so according to Chris, just to let you know, he's bona fide, he's invited to the barbecue.
Okay.
So,
And with that being
no,
said,
one more
you
thing.
got one more
I have the most important question of this whole segment.
But
When is Judson going to win another state championship?
Every year, bring it.
Bring it.
Okay.
All right.
And with that being said, we want to thank you for listening in on our discussion today, Passing Failing Students, with Mr. Jose Macias as our special guest. And as we say on Contemporary Black Voices, telling our stories our way.